Yeah. We try to continue, having said in the first talk about the purpose, the main focus that Pope Francis is inviting from each person. The underlying point that what he wanted to tell is that all people will speak and God speaks through all people. All people will speak and God speaks through all people. And in fact, in terms of the synodality, when we talk about it, you might have heard in several talks about listening. But I also wanted to draw a simple point for you. One of the conditions that the Pope Francis invites is you should be able to speak. If you don't speak, you are actually causing damage. You need to listen, but this is a condition. In listening, in the process of listening, a communal listening, but you also need to speak. Sometimes you see in religious meetings or any meeting, pastoral meetings, when it comes, there is a kind of traditional way of looking at the people. Some people will come, participate, and whatever the bishop says or whatever the head of that department says or the mission that they say, we agree. Any comment? No comment. But afterwards, and in the moment and you go out, then that is the time the people began to speak about it. And Pope Francis says, it is very unhealthy way. When the time comes there, you should be able to speak. And for that person, you should be able to respond. And one of the need for all of us, especially in terms with the gospel, is this. Understanding the synodality mainly in two important perspectives. The first one is this. Whether you like it or not, we have hurt someone. Being a religious and having this call, so-called in the name of God, we have hurt someone, we have caused damage to someone, whether it is with a half knowledge or a full knowledge. But these people need to be listened to. It is one of the story in one parish, where I am right now working in Kerala. In Kerala, there in the parish, if anybody comes and tries to speak something, I have seen literally with my eyes, the parish priest will not talk to that guy for the next 1 month. If he speaks against. But as a way, you're not listening to him. Maybe that person's voice, that person's comments may not fit in your frame of mind. But that person need to be listened. And the second response to this, to whom we have hurt, because we are talking about, when I say we, I am really referring to the word church, okay? I am not just saying as personal, though we are the body, all of us, but as a church, we have hurt. In response to that, we need to heal. Synodality is about healing process. Synodality is not about making some decisions, trying to do and then respond. It is only through this we will be able to preach the gospel. Now, having said this, why Pope Francis has released this constitution for the changes in the Roman Curia is because some people have not listened to, especially the people so-called laity. They are not listened to. I bring it to you, the reflection from the Word of God. All of us, we have read many times or heard, Jesus was so furious and got angry in the temple, correct or not? If I have to ask you, why did he get angry? Why he chased them away from there? Why? Maybe his high blood pressure that day, BP was very high. Anyway, the story is very simple. You please understand this. Apart from what is being exhibited there, every person who comes, or a community who comes there to Jerusalem, they have the prayer of worship place. And these places were given to some people in order to put up a market, which is a very good cause to facilitate. But the indirect message is, I don't want to allow this community to come and pray here. You get my point? There is a historical explanation. It is a way to tell, I don't allow this community, so-called people who are outcast, so-called people who are not really in my so-called believers, in order to make them no place, make them feel that they have no place of worship, so that gradually they don't turn up here. Only few people will have a place, and for that, and they have given these places for the others, so that the other people will come and they will occupy for a market, and so that these people, they don't have a place for prayer. And that is the reason Jesus says, you have turned the place of my Father into marketplace, a prayer. Now, in a practical sense, try to understand, what are the different manipulations that are existing in the church, or even in a common way? A manipulation that not promoting a gospel, but it looks like as if we are doing something good, but underneath it is different. So we find one way to avoid another. It's a very practical way, no? You see, one day you have a fight with another sister and you are trying to walk, and as you walk and you see this sister, and you walk another way. You don't talk. For me, it is a simple thing. It is not gospel. Then after that, if at all that sister will be asked why you did not speak or anything, and then sister will give very good reasons. What are the good reasons? I am busy, I am occupied, and I am rushing, and I have some urgent work I have to do. But the conscience will tell what is underneath. Now, in terms with the Roman Curia, what is happening? What is happening is that there are many so-called the priests and the bishops, and who are trying to discern and to listen and to share and make decisions. But the Pope Francis feels there is something much more need to be listened to. There is a much more, the people themselves can really come and participate much better, because they are the one facing the real life situations. And it is they who will come as a participants, and so that we will listen to them, and then they make a decisions. It is like a saying, in India, Persians have come for the first time to Gujarat. When they came for the first time, they went to the king and they asked the king, saying, we came from Persia, we just wanted some place to stay here with you. Could you please allow us? Then the king sent 1 glass of milk to the brim. And after the one servant came and they said, the king sent this one. And all of them, they were thinking, what is the meaning of this? We have requested. He did not give an answer yes or no, but he sent 1 glass of milk. The milk is to the brim. They were thinking. After some time, that one Persian priest, and he said, could you please bring some sugar? And that man went and brought a sugar. He took 1 spoon of sugar, added in the milk, he stirred it and said, please go back and offer it to the king. What is he trying to tell? You have your land flowing with milk. Me, inside, I am not going to disturb or consume, but rather our stay here will add sweetness to what is existing. You get my point? It is important to ask ourselves, being a religious or being a person responsible in the church, are we adding sweetness to promote the gospel, or are we adding poison? And that is not evangelical. It can be with anything mentality. Now for this, Pope Francis took it 2 important documents as a reference point, and which was one by Paul VI and other one was by John Paul II. The first one was 1967. There was a constitution, Regimini Ecclesia Universae, and he took it from this. And another one is the Apostolic Constitution, Pastor Bonus, a good pastor. And these 2 documents correspond to the requests of the Second Vatican Council arranging and implementing the reform of the Curia. And both the documents speaks about the changes in the Roman Curia. So what I'm trying to tell is that Praedicate Evangelium is not the first document it is speaking about the reform of the Curia. It has its references. But however, it has taken that, but it has taken a further step of some more changes which will help the whole church. And all these 2 documents speaks about lot of changes in area. Now taking to the point of about this our own document here. For this document, Pope Francis also speaks about even from the documents of Evangelii Gaudium and the so many old other documents references, and he speaks about 2 things. One is programming, okay? Other one is paradigmatic, okay? Pragmatic and paradigmatic. Pragmatic and paradigmatic. Now, what is this? Programmic mission, as his name indicates, consists in carrying out acts of a missionary nature. When you say programmic means, it is referring to acts of missionary nature. There are many people, many things that we need to do. In the way we do, it is speaking about the nature, the acts of our nature. But when it comes to paradigmatic mission, it applies placing the usual activities that we do into the particular church, which is more on the customs, styles, practices, a lot of cultural concerns that we try to do it. Now, I just give one simple idea for you. That is, all here, whether though the new appointments and here, you came for the first time to the Srikakulam diocese, but I am very sure you might have seen in the past years, there is a one style of programming. And also there is a one style of paradigmatic style. Because surely Srikakulam has its own style, customs, different ways of really expressing their faith. But it is important, these 2 should be complementary so that evangelization becomes the center. Evangelization becomes the center. Now I give one example in Kerala itself, because I am giving an example because where I am in the parish, okay? That's what I am trying to tell you. In that parish, everyday mass, maybe morning only 15-20 people will come. And Sunday mass, around 300 people, they will come. But you ask for confessions or you ask for anything and all, some people will come, some people don't come. But you tell them about the feast with the food, full. Even you have not seen these faces at all in your life, they will appear. And there they will appear, and they are there flock by flock, and they are there, and these people and the parishioners who are very, very active and there. Now, sometimes, as a pastor, we feel happy, being a parish priest or working there, see, wow, so many people, nice, very good, it is good. But in the church, when you celebrate Mass, half of the people don't receive communion. Get my point? Majority of them don't go for confessions. And it is not one time, it is continuous style you can see. It is through this reality we have to discern and we have to really make our programs and our particular styles which are there, respecting them to make it. Because this is what I am trying to tell is that when we are talking about to promote the evangelization or to preach the gospel, it is important to get into the shoes of the reality, what is really happening in our community. It is not enough to put up one school and put up one center there and say that little people will come and they are there and everything. No, that is not enough. If we have to make a discernment, to discern in such a way that through our presence is evangelization happening. At the end, when we talk about this, that these people believe in Jesus. And it is a question of their faith. And these particular realities are different from here, even in Kerala or in another diocese or in different dioceses, are always different. But as a body, a bigger body, you can discern and you can really share, you can voice it out, and you can tell these things needs to be addressed and which needs the full participation and everything. Now, going to the changes in the Roman Curia. In the Roman Curia, what are the changes through this constitution that has been made? Because as I told you, that before changing any structures, it is a need and a requirement of the reform and also the change of structures at that level. And a few points that I will draw out. One of the point is that in the document it says in the constitution, before there were congregations of doctrine of faith at the Vatican level. Now all the congregations have turned into dicastery. Usually this congregation has a prefect of the congregation. That prefect of the congregation and will continue to facilitate and to make a decisions which is composed of a group of people who are bishops or priests or whatever, and they have. But now in the constitution, it invites, Pope Francis invites, the prefect can be a lay person. From his experience or education and looking at it, not necessarily a cardinal, not necessarily a bishop. Prefect can be a lay person. Of course, surely. It has its own problem that will come. What is the problem? The problem for many people is this. Why I have to listen to a lay person? Because I am priest, I studied for 10, 12 years, 15 years, my philosophy and theology. Why I have to listen? Why I should obey the lay person? But it is a breaking of the barrier. It is to say, and maybe inviting even religious also, for a better participation with the laity. Sometimes in our congregation, especially we have general chapters, it was not before, but now some congregations have already started, even to invite lay people for the chapter. Correct or no? That to speak, let them speak what they feel about us. Let them tell what is really their experience of our life with them. Let them give feedback. And second important point is that charity to be given more importance. Charity. It is in this charity, it is in this body for the charity, because we have international level Caritas and this body, and who are doing any good work, and they are trying to do. But especially the Pope Francis, and he speaks very much about this, and I also rephrase it and in this way: all religious are for poor. Correct or no? All religious. Surely everybody will say, even the priest will say, whether it's a diocesan or religious, everybody, and everybody will say, all. And many are of the poor, and few are with the poor. You get my point? All are for the poor. Many are of the poor, and few are with the poor. And this body also to reform at this level. And another important aspect which I see, and very much in this particular document, and here it is invites very much of the governance. Okay, apart from making all the congregation to dicastery, it also speaks about that all the people have to focus, all the dicasteries have to focus, only evangelization is the center. Only evangelization. Because it focuses only 3 important points. The first one, it speaks about to center the evangelization as a center. The second one, for the missionary conversion. To have the missionary conversion. Nowadays, many of them are not missionary. When we really talk about our own stories of faith, are actually coming from a missionary dimension. How you have lived your experience with God, how it has made you into the transformation of faith, how it has made you to give more meaning either as a priest or as a sister or as a brother. And missionary conversion. And the last one is for as lay prefects, the lay people, the high participation of the laity. Now, having said this, the changes that are made in the Roman Curia for all these things, surely it is important for all of us to understand. There are certain needs that we need to open our minds. Are we ready to listen to a layperson? This is a fundamental question. Are we ready to listen to a layperson who tells of his own personal experience? Are we ready? A layperson becomes so-called our boss. Third, are we ready, even having this different reality of a curia, still we are able to see with our eyes, with the light of Christ, who is leading us into the true path of Jesus and working for evangelization. And lastly, I will conclude in this way. In one of the generalate, I saw one particular ship, a small ship, one beautiful one. Somebody might have gifted. I asked the Mother General, Sister, it is very beautiful, from where did you get this? Then Sister said, Father, that was given to me by one community when I went for my canonical visitation. And then she said, Father, if you notice, this particular ship is actually made with arrows. Made with arrows. And I noticed. I said, yes, sister. And then she continued to narrate a story. Their community, they decided to go and do evangelization and to do mission work in one of the rural village in Africa. And when they have gone there, this village people, for many years, they don't allow any person to come into their village. If at all anybody comes, first they will take an arrow and they will kill them. And they don't allow anybody. And it took for them several years to enter into that community, to teach them that this arrow is not the weapon of your life. This arrow is not the protection of life. Sometimes the confrontation is that it is through this we are protecting our community. And they found very difficult to promote the gospel. But after many years, it is only through their personal commitment and personal participation. Nobody is telling them. No letter is coming from Mother General to say that, you have to do this, sister. They are discerning from that reality, becoming more and more active. It is like looking at, from their perspective, how to respond to them, how to reach out to them. And they made it. When they began to work for the first time, they allowed them into their village. And after that, they gathered all their arrows. They made a small ship and they have given them and said, our new journey has begun with Jesus. And it is our symbol of a new journey. And we give to you because you have made us to journey toward Jesus. And it is this, and I invite you, and for this, let us keep the gospel, the centrality of evangelization, and in spite of all the difficulties, that the Lord will help, but it really comes out in the reality of the people, how they have embraced Jesus. Thank you very much, and God bless.
And all members of FCRI Srikakulam, this is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks today in the name on behalf of all the FCRI members here. First of all, my heartfelt thanks goes to our Reverend Bishop, who has taken this initiative to once again to call us after a long time. Our last meeting was Christmas gathering, semi-Christmas here on 18th December. After this is after a long gap. He has been taking a lot of initiative and attending all the meetings whenever we call, because he is our beloved bishop and a religious in spirit and in action, so he shows it. And today itself he is here to animate this meeting and to God the resource person for all this. Dear Bishop, we are very grateful to you for accompanying our religion. We feel that you are really taking care of us. We are not left as communities in different places. You are real concerned for our well-being and our spiritual life. We feel it here very much by your presence always with us. And as Pope said, we are the pillars of the church. Naturally, we have to work for the church, and we also feel in future we should make our presence felt more by our pastoral work along with the parish priest. And I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to today's resource person, Father Shyam. He has spoken very beautifully, points which were very informative and educative and good for us. But lots of points I mention here, I will find it difficult. One thing, to whom the good is to be done, and what time the good is to be done, and when to do it. So, this is the right time. I think the good is to be done. We have been putting with a lot of inputs. Dear Father, thank you very much for bringing it to our notice that we are also here to help the church, especially our dear Diocese of Srikakulam, with our bishop to bring up the diocese with our presence wherever we are. And I also thank our real Vice President who took the challenge to organize it. She has been telephoning to me many times for things, so many initiatives. She has come here beforehand and arranged all this so beautifully. I thank her for all the work she has undertaken to conduct this meeting today. And I thank our Director of the Pastoral Center for allowing us, giving us the facilities for this meeting, which maybe we may be looking forward in future also to use it. It's a convenient and mid place where sisters and fathers can gather. Thank you, Father, for making it available for our use. And I thank Reverend Secretary of the Bishop who has been also here along with us. Do you know one thing? Today, Bishop also has paid the registration fees for the meeting. And registered himself. It shows that he is down-to-earth person, really a religious along with us. And I thank the media person. What are you called?
Somesh.
For coming over here for streaming this program. I hope you will telecast our program to all the whole diocese must see that we the whole diocese must see we religious are gathered here for a good purpose.
Okay.
And thank you for arranging this program. And the next is the Holy Mass. Thank you for giving this place for our Holy Mass. And there will be meals, fellowship meal followed by this year after the Mass. Have I left out anyone? And welcome all the new members to this CRI who have come from, especially new faces, new fathers. Most of the fathers have changed. They are all new. Mostly fathers, others we don't even know. Sisters also are welcome all of you to this CRI gathering. Once again, next meeting must be full attendance. Yeah. Because last time Bishop said, Father Kishore was the president. What is the secret that all the sisters all are present here for the meeting? Bishop said. When I said we love our president, so that's why maybe the case. This time also we love our president. So please, this is a place for us to gather. This is a platform for us. So make it a point to come here to meet each other. We religious of our diocese must know each other. So put away all the work. All of us have work, even close the house and come. That's why it is put on it. If needed, put a lock on the house and all come here and enjoy, that will be good. So, we have almost closed the house and we are also very clean. What to do? Nothing will happen. The heavens will not fall one half day if we are not there. So, next meeting must be with the full attendance and enthusiastic. We will have a vibrant LCRI of Srikakulam, because our bishop is behind us. He is with us. So we can be confident that we can be a real vibrant LCRI of Srikakulam. Thank you one and all, in spite of all this, for taking this initiative to come. Thank you, your Lord.